Beardo Benjo.
Are you ready to have your mind absolutely blown? I don't think you are, so I'm just going to do it anyway and catch you off guard. PT, Playable Teaser, came out in 2014. It came out almost 6 years ago. It came out in August of 2014. How is that game already almost 6 years old? And it's not even a game, it's a demo. It's a demo for something that we will never experience and we will never get because it was cancelled. The Silent Hills game that should have been, that never was, that still hurts me every day. So PT is almost 6 years old. Now that got me thinking. I've been sitting here today playing little indie games on itch.io and kind of seeing what talent's out there, and there's a lot of talent out there. There's a lot of people making some genuinely scary stuff in the indie scene and genuinely scary stuff in the AAA scene as well. Horror games, I think, are in a bit of a renaissance. They're better than ever. But people still speak about PT. People still quote PT as the scariest game they've ever played. And that is interesting to me because it's a 6-year-old demo of a game that was cancelled. A Silent Hill game. It's not a finished product. It's a teaser. It's almost like saying my favourite film of all time is the trailer for Endgame. If that makes sense. It's an abstract kind of way to sum it up, but it's strange because this was just created as a way to tease people and show people that there was going to be a new Silent Hill game. That was the entire point of Playable Teaser, was to kind of show you that Kojima and Guillermo del Toro were both working on this project together and it was going to be Silent Hill. And you needed to go through a lot of steps to kind of figure out how to complete the demo. That was the entire point of it. But it still sits there amongst some of the most scary games ever made, and people still hold it in such high regard. So with that in mind, it's 2020. How scary is PT now? I am certain it is not going to be as scary as it was back then, but I could be completely wrong. It has been remade for PC in Unreal. I don't know if they ported it over from the PlayStation or did anything with the core original files, but here it is, in all its glory, PT running on PC. Now the point of me playing it today is really just to kind of, just chat about its influence and kind of what it's done to the horror scene since coming out all those years ago. And 2, just see if it's still scary, see if it still holds up. I remember playing this when it came out, and I don't know if I can collect these straight away. I don't think I can. No, I can't collect the pieces of the puzzle straight away. I remember playing this the day it came out. I remember being at work. Oh, it's just so well made. I remember being at work and there was a game show on. I can't remember if it was E3 or if it was a PlayStation show, or it was some kind of games show on at that time. And I remember reading that this playable teaser for a brand new horror game from Kojima and Guillermo del Toro had been released to PlayStation for free. And I told everyone at work, I said, I'm going to go home, I'm going to download that, I'm going to play it. And I came home and my wife, who wasn't my wife at the time, she wasn't home. She was either away or she just was at work or something. So I booted up the PlayStation and I decided to stream it. So people that didn't have PlayStation, namely some of my friends, could watch me play it. And I was terrified. I could barely get through this. And now I've played it a few times and I kind of know the bits that are scary. I know where to find Lisa and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, my first playthrough was unlike anything I've ever played before. I was absolutely petrified of this game. Something about it burrowed into my mind and it just unsettled me. I was sitting there in my front room. What do you want in there? I was in my front room with the lights on, playing it, streaming, friends watching, and I was terrified. It didn't feel right. It felt unnatural. This game feels like something that shouldn't exist. You know, if that makes sense. It feels like it's too dark. It's too deeply seated in our subconscious. Kind of the way this game makes you feel isn't right. It's so unnerving. And I don't know if you ever saw, they released a trailer for Silent Hills after PT had come out, been out for a while, and been outed as Silent Hill. And even that little trailer just had some imagery which was really unsettling, if a little terrifying. Oh, there we go, so I can pick up the pieces now. So I really just want to see how it holds up. Now, obviously, straight out the gate, it still looks amazing. This is an Unreal version of the game. Built an Unreal Engine on PC. And you can download it for free. I think it is on itch.io, and you can get the file on like Mega Upload if you know where to look on like Reddit and stuff. Ah, you pisser. I forgot the horrible crying. You can get hold of this for free on PC if you know where to find it, know where to look. And it is playable in VR, and I did try it. It's just a little bit glitchy in VR. It's not ideal. You can clip through the walls and stuff, which kind of breaks the immersion. And I've seen videos of people being able to clip outside of their own body, spin around, and obviously see that it's Norman Reedus there, and then kind of just stand there looking at Norman Reedus' face, which kind of pulls away from the scares. But it does look great. It still holds up. It looks very haunting. This kind of drab, boring corridor is there's just something unsettling about it, and being stuck in this infinite loop is unnerving. It's not comfortable. This game kind of makes us feel a certain way, I think, as humans, as people, that we don't enjoy, and we don't want to feel this way. I'm trying to remember where all the pieces of the photo are. I swear there is one on one of these. But yeah, immediately playing it right now. The sound design is still very haunting. I don't like that. You know, that's never going to be nice. No one enjoys that. The sound design's very haunting still. The corridor is still disgusting. It's not nice. I think the scariest thing in this game is this, and the noise it makes swinging back and forth. It's just horrible. Absolutely horrible. Bathroom's open. And Lisa herself, she's a terrifying ghost. We might get a little glimpse of her. Now. No, I was certain she pops her face out there. It's incredible to me, this game's impact on horror games as a whole. Because it is, as I said at the start, it's just a demo. It's just a teaser. The caliber of the people involved in creating this is exceptionally high. Obviously, we have Norman Reedus, we have Kojima, we have Guillermo del Toro. I can never say his name properly, so apologies if I'm butchering it. But we have all those people involved in creating this terrifying product that never saw the light of day fully. Oh, here we go. Oh, look at that. It's just disgusting. Haunting. It's just not nice. And so many games have replicated this. Visage, one of my favourite horror games, has just taken this kind of PT, hyper-realistic vibe and just run with it and turned it into a full game. It's still not nice. The scares are signposted. I've played it. It's the noises. I've played it a bunch of times, but it never gets easier to play. I don't think, anyway, personally. So yeah, I mean, 6 years later, 6 years after its release, is it still the most terrifying game ever made? Probably not. You know, people have played it, dissected it, done it to death. Is it still scary? Yes. Is it still unsettling? Yes. Booting it up now and jumping in. Oh, God. I still feel unsettled by it. It still does something different. As I said, Visage modelled almost its entire shtick on this game, in my opinion. And this still does something... Oh, man. This still does something very different. The aesthetic is super hyper-realistic and creepy. I forgot about this goddamn sink baby. Hey. What? You can kind of see that it's Norman Reedus here. I know you can... There is a glitch where you can make it. Oh, God. Oh no. Leave me alone. Please stay out. No. You're making the fetus unhappy. Stay outside. Thank you for letting me out. This game's impact on the world of horror can't be understated, and can't be ignored. I think it was cancelled in the end, but there was a game that was meant to come out called Allison Road, I think it was going to be called, and that again looked very much like PT, like just hyper realistic, comfortable environments, but just distorted and twisted in such a way that they don't feel safe, they don't feel nice. And that's effectively what this is. A comfortable environment, you know, it's a suburban house, dimly lit, creepy noises, somewhere that should be safe, but all the safety's been pulled away from under you, and it's just nightmare fuel. You're stuck in this endless loop, oh, for God's sake, that gets progressively more and more terrifying as you play. I don't remember it being this dark. And so many games have tried to replicate it and cash in on the fact that PT didn't release as a full product, or Silent Hills didn't release as a full product. There we go. I think I'm free to go now. I'm not looking behind me. The first time I played this and I got to that little loop there and the radio saying, look behind you. Oh my God. I turned around. Like, why wouldn't you turn around? It makes sense to turn around. So I turn around and bang, obviously there's Lisa right in my face, ready to absolutely murder me. And I lost my shit. Oh shit! Oh, still scary, man. Oh fuck, there she is. Look at that. In 2020, I've played, you know, oh, back away, not today, disco lady. Back away, not today. I'm fucking out of here. I've played a lot of games in that 6-year period of time between this coming out and me sitting here right now today, and there's not a lot that's got under my skin the way that kind of that sequence of events, or this entire game's worth of sequence of events, does. It's just so well put together. It's so well put together. I still live in hope that we'll get a horror game from Kojima and Del Toro at some point. You know, even if they don't collaborate together, I'd like to see something from Kojima in that ilk, because this is so good. And yeah, you know, I've played it so many times. Quite a lot of the scares have worn off, but it still got me with that little jump scare a little while ago, and it still makes me feel uneasy playing it. I can't emphasize that enough. I do feel genuinely uneasy playing the game. Where could it be? Oh, that wasn't nice.
204863. 204863.
Creepy.
204863. 204863.
I forgot all about this bit.
204863.
I don't like it. It's all going a bit wrong, isn't it, really? Okay. Oh, terrifying bitch. Don't come closer to me. Done? Oh, so creepy. Look at her out there. Wiggling around. Oh, I hate her. Oh. Is that it? And now you should go to the phone? I've done it!
You've been chosen.
Yes! There we go. I do still kind of remember how to complete PT, get through to the end and escape with my life intact. It really does blow my mind how influential this game has been on modern gaming culture in terms of just the design. That kind of hyper-realistic look really kind of took over for a little while, and things like Allison Road and Visage really piggybacked off this and kind of propelled themselves to success based on the fact that they looked quite a lot like PT. You can even argue that Resident Evil 7, which came out in 2017, looked at this trailer and kind of the impact that it had on horror gaming culture as a whole and said, you know what, we're going to capitalize on the fact that that isn't going to come out. And they released Resident Evil 7 in the way that they did, in that kind of first person, brand new for the series viewpoint, and went for a more hyper-realistic, genuinely terrifying suburban type house, although it was obviously in the bayou and it was kind of a bit more of a mansion, but it still was a comfortable or traditionally comfortable environment, but turned on its head by the horrors that lurked within. It does interest me just how far reaching the impact of this little teaser is, and it still is now. 2020, you know, 6 years later, and people still talk about it, people still pine after a full release, and it genuinely is still scary. It's not as scary as it was when I first played it. I'm sitting here in a fairly dark room with my headphones on, quite close to the screen, and it wasn't as scary or as impactful as it was that first time I played it. But it's never gonna be. I'm never gonna be able to experience it with those fresh eyes ever again. But what it does do is it still drills under your skin. Still kind of, there's still something wrong about this game. There's still something unnerving about the setting, the tight corridors, the color palette, the sound design, the fact that Lisa can turn up whenever you least expect it and murder you without really any notice, apart from you do get some kind of sound cues that tell you she's nearby. And the puzzles, the way the game's put together in terms of finishing the thing, is still super interesting to me, that they went on such an obscure tangent to allow players to finish this game. And I think that's what made PT so special. It wasn't a run-of-the-mill horror game with spooky things that went bump in the night. Yeah, it had spooky things, and yeah, they went bump in the night, but it was so much more than that. It was deeply unsettling because no one knew what was going on. You were thrown into this house, and it changed horror games for me and for I think a lot of people, and it's a shame we'll never get to see the finished product. Is it still scary in 2020? It's still got its moments. If you haven't played it, and I urge you to play it, download it and give it a go, because I think you will find it a very unsettling experience and something that manages to burrow deep within your psyche. But I don't think it's as scary now as it was way back when it launched. And that's purely and probably because I've played it so many times and I know the ins and outs, but it has lessened its impact over the years, for me personally. For new players, I think it still retains, and it should still retain, a lot of the terror that made it a hit when it first came out. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you have, drop me a like, drop me a comment, and hit subscribe. I'm playing a lot of horror games at the moment. I'm back on that horror hype. A lot of little mini indie games, kind of just checking them out and kind of throwing them out there. There's some great talent in the indie communities, so I want to kind of play that and show you what's out there. It's all free on itch.io, or you can donate to these developers to help them on their plight to make better games in the future. Take care of yourselves, guys. I'll see you soon for another one. See you later. Goodbye.